Welcome back to your #1 stop for PSO2 New Genesis gameplay, how-to, and all that jazz. And today, we are here to answer the question of what is the Geometrio Labyrinth, or also known as the Pyramid. On this episode of What Is, well, I explain mechanics or give you helpful guide for brand new stuff hopping into NGS. And lucky enough, we just got a very big update with that brand new dungeon that you can check out right now inside of PSO2 New Genesis. So for the rest of the video, I'm just going to call it the Pyramid because it is. So let's go ahead, let's jump into it, and let's discuss everything you need to know about it. So to start off, the Pyramid itself is pretty much a in-game-ish activity, or as of now, pretty much a straight up in-game with a few exceptions, which we will get to. And because of that, there is a few requirements to actually begin this. First of all, you need to play through the story enough to get into the Retain region, which begin around level 20. So if you're a brand new player, you gotta make your way to this area to, well, any begin this. And the net requirement is, well, the same old we have dealt with before, which is of course tied to battle power, but there is also a level cap here as well. So if we go ahead and start the quest itself, you will see that it does take a requirement of a level 30 or higher, as well as a battle power of 1682. So the battle power is fairly reasonable for the level, but the thing to keep in mind here, any if you can start this at level 30, ideally you probably want to wait to 45 without you can actually put together a party of friends for this event. Because how this operates is the enemy themselves will go to the highest person in the party. So if you are level 30 with level 45 in your party, all the monsters will scale to 45, and in return, everyone below 40 will literally only do 1 damage. So that works the exact same way as scaling to monsters in general. You need to be roughly around 5 level to the max to actually take part in it. And since the majority of the player base right now Elite on Ship 1 is 45, so that kind of requires you to be roughly around that as well. But once again, if you can put together a team of 4 30s, you're pretty much good to go. Since this is either a 1 to 4 player, so you can indeed solo this if you want. So there is that option if you want to go that route. But if you're looking for party members, probably want to make sure you're 45. Well, you know, like I said, you have other people to play with. But outside the dungeon itself, which we will go in more detail in a moment, there is 2 brand new client orders that are tied to this, and you can go ahead and find it inside of Retain City. If you go ahead and go around the equip side on the outside, you will go ahead and find a little plateau over here where you will find your brand new NPC that will have 2 quests for you. And of course, you want to go ahead and talk to this guy literally standing right here on top of that little plateau, looking like he is talking to a whole group of people. And his 2 quests is it pretty much made of Pyramid 1 and 2 training. And the 4th one here will give you a few rewards for doing it, such as 5 B triggers. So you can go ahead and do a B trigger here in the Retain region with yellows. And as well as 5,000 Meseta and 200,000 Affiliate. That one is pretty simple. All you gotta do is pretty much do the activity once. Do it one time, you will go ahead and unlock this. The next one will be a court training 2, which require you to go ahead and beat all the levels that are in the pyramid, since there is a total of 6 for total, which once again we will go more into in a moment. But for completing this area, you will go ahead and get you 5 more B trigger for the Retain region, as well as once again 5,000 Meseta or 200,000 Affiliate. As you can see, that same reward for both of these. The only thing that changed here is the 4th one will give you yellow triggers, and then of course the 2nd one will give you a purple trigger. So there you are, I got easy way to get your hands on these. But just know you cannot do this in one run. So you are gonna have to run through the pyramid 2 times to get this, since they do not technically count if you beat it in your 4th go. So keep that in mind for the quests. But let's go ahead and begin discussing the pyramid itself here, since there are 2 major ways that you can start the quest. First of all, you can go to your map and go ahead and head on over to the pyramid. You will of course see the brand new marker here that you can go ahead and hit a step from here, and you can start the quest as is. And outside of what it requires, we do have some conditions for failure. Because the thing to keep in mind, this is technically default content in NGS that you can legit pretty much fail, and more than likely probably will, especially once you start putting some debuffs on the actual event as well, which once again we will get to in a second. This is a very simple pretty much either two conditions of failure, which as stated here, it fail a total of 10 side missions, since every 4 will have X number of missions for you to complete. But if you fail 10 of them, you will fail the whole thing. And the other way to fail, if you and your teammate, all of you pretty much just die over and don't have the items required to bring you all back from the dead, that will also be a failure as well here. And then under quest detail here, we have also a few things. Of course, the normal thing, reach the final stage, defeat the enemy, nothing new though. But we do have a leaderboard here. The leaderboard sadly is not for party, as this is a 100% for solo. So as you can see, there is a personal bet for you getting through that alone, as well as each of the leaderboard will be separated out into a different classes that you are playing as something they're trying to kill me, isn't it? I met the robot. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and go the other way, and let's be honest, the best way to actually get inside the pyramid outside of going through menus, which is of course by coming through the tunnel that will lead you to the gateway that some saw a couple months ago when people were accidentally glitching into the area. But now there is a legit opening that you can go ahead and find over here in the central retain area, right where my cursor is right now. And you can go ahead and get to it once again from the beach as well. So we're gonna go ahead and run down that corridor and once again get to, like I said, where we saw people originally glitching in. So you would note that right here will be pretty much locked away in its own little area, so you do not gotta worry about any monsters attacking you or anything at all. You are 100% safe down here. And as you can see, this at the time of this video and at launch, this is where most people are hanging out to actually create parties. So if you're looking for party members, this is a fantastic place to go, since you will go ahead and see everybody here. So once you have your party created and ready to go, might it be you doing it or anyone else in your party that is in charge of it. But for our sake, let's go ahead and do it for ourselves here. You're going to go ahead and once again go to the menu and pick the pyramid, or you can run up to the door, hit accept, and you will get right back to the same menu I was showing before. There is one little side note here. As you can see, as of right now, there is a join party button. But for whatever reason, this is not working right now. I don't know if it's one of them things that was supposed to be here that got delayed because, you know, update and Sega stuff. Or if it's something that will be added at a later date. I'm not 100% for sure what's going on with it beyond it not operating right now. So sadly, you cannot technically just do straight up like dungeon final stuff. You manually had to make party members. So this is not exactly the best, especially since obviously out of the gate you're supposed to be able to join a party. But nonetheless, it's how it is for the time being. So let's go ahead and continue on towards here by clicking start quest. From here, there will be a few options. So if this is your very first time playing through this dungeon, or if you are in a party with a whole bunch of people and somebody in the party have not done it before, you will not get that menu. You will just go ahead and skip it and just go straight into that menu of accepting quests and whatnot, which will once again get you into the dungeon itself. But let's go ahead and talk about the challenge settings here. Since as you play through here, and when you get to your second playthrough, you will get the ability to, of course, able to put up to 10 challenges on your one. So as you can see here, as we break this down, we do have a multiplier score, which right now is 0%, as well as the ability to get a certain rank. With no added on challenges, you are setting at a B. But if you go ahead and you start adding these, as you add a 10, so you can only do 10, you will go ahead and notice that a rank as far like how much of a bonus we actually going to get will be going up. As well, when you start adding more, you will start seeing the quill rank also go up as well. And these are pretty much how you get the ability to unlock S rank. Then the ranking system worked the same as before, you know, A, B, C, D, so on and so on. And the only way to get the higher rank is to be put on the challenges. So the challenges, let's go ahead and talk about them now in detail, since and we can go ahead and restart it back to default. We do have a couple. You will start off with 10 out of the gate heal that will be distant up, such as give enemy more HP, increase how many numbers of items you have for like healing and revival for 4. You also have random challenges, which will give you a pick of random stats across the board, and also give you a chance of having the possibility, like heal, of adding gigantics to the dungeon itself. But the 10 you start out with in the beginning is not the only ones you're going to go ahead and get. Because as you see here, we have the ones that, such as this, that have levels. So how they operate is if you put a level 1 on, and then you beat the dungeon itself, that will then unlock level 2 of the item. And as far as a proper breakdown of all the ones you can unlock, since it's actually a decent amount here, we're going to go ahead and head on over to Arc Busy Phone. I will have a link in the description below so you can check this out for yourself, but they have broken down all the possibility to unlock. So let's go ahead and go through some of these. So to start off, we got our default one, which is put 25 to HP. That will go all the way up to 400% to HP. Enemy attack will go from 25 all the way up to 300. As for the restriction of how many healing items you can have, that will go all the way up from level 1, being a 2, all the way up to 6. So this will be how many will be taken away from you. So at the higher level, you will be stuck with only 2 healing items, or is it 4? Number, I think we have 10, right? So I guess it'd be 4 unlocked at that point. And then we also have a carry limit for revivals. Once again, they will be going or decreasing from 1 to 4. And then we have our challenges, which will be giving you distant up, as such as taking away HP of how much AP you have per 4, how much PP you have, your proton gauge, once again, also gigantic bonding, and a distant variant for this stuff. And then, of course, also in the video phone site, we'll break down the percentages for core multiplier, so you can go ahead and start doing these to unlock the higher rank one. So you can go for that pressure at rank, or to just make the game mode as hard as you see fit. Might it be for your solo one, or for your teammates, if you guys want some hardcore challenges for all your true in-game modes out there. So let's talk about what happens once you are inside of the pyramid itself. Once again, we do have our ranking system from C to S. As you can see, there is a time limit of 40 minutes per one here, which usually won't really require that much, except for on the harder setting. There is a total of 6 floors. So pretty much how they work it, you go from point A to point B, either fighting enemy, solving platforming puzzles, finding buttons, fighting bosses, or just straight up doing what you probably have done 100 times inside of cocoons. Pretty much the best way to think of it, every floor is pretty much a cocoon. The thing is, from my playing, which have been roughly about 6 or so hours doing that content, it seemed to be roughly about 15 variant per floor. Let me know in the comments if you have seen more than that. But from my testing, that about what I have seen. So that means 15 different versions that will be traded in and out in these levels. And you're only going to see 6 at a time. So you have a little bit of variety here as far as what you will be seeing. So to start off here, once you actually get into the dungeon, we have a little bit of start off here where you can go ahead and pick up some healing items and whatnot if you need them. And then at the very top here, we're going to go ahead and click on the button. From here, that will actually begin a countdown timer, and it will actually start the event itself. So once we are in here, there is a few things you will notice. We now have on the left side our mission objectives, which is made up in the case of 4 side missions. These are the side missions we were talking about before, and the side missions elite for this one here is a called Quill heal without taking so much damage, Quill before the 5-minute time limit, make sure you inflict 500 damage over 3 times, and then of course Quill the area without getting hit any more than 10 times. And pretty much for completing the quests as well as defeating enemies will give you points. And the points is pretty much how the scaling works for the C through S rank. So the more scores, the more enemy you kill, more quests you complete, the faster you will go up and up and up into hopefully getting F rank if you have some challenges put on. But like I said, by default, you are elite guaranteed to get up to B. With that being said, you could still do horrible and get a C rank, but you can elite get B if you have no challenges on. And then, of course, if you do want to see like an emo breakdown, you can do so by hitting, I believe, start on the controller or the 3 little lines if you're using an F-box controller. And you can go ahead and bring up your menu like you would normally, and I believe it escape on keyboard. And you can, of course, see the name of the area, as well as what floor you're on, and, of course, your leaderboards overall. So if you want to keep track of yourself and get a bigger picture inside the dungeon, you can do so by doing it that way as well. But once you complete all 6 stages here, your court will be awaited, and with whatever waiting system you got, you will, of course, unlock some loot. The thing is about it, the loot in this as of now doesn't seem that great overall. We are still, of course, getting a rank of 2 and 3 and 4 items and armor and stuff. You will get your hands on a few gold or premium unit, and as well as swords as well that you can use to upgrade your equipment. Just know they are just the bait version. There's no part 20 like it would be taking part in the triggers. And then you will, of course, have some augment unlocking, which is kind of a little up in the air. Like, some of them are fairly okay, but if you're someone who are mainly trying to farm augments, at least on ship 1, they seem to only be going around like 80,000. So as someone that not heavily into farming items, it might be something you gotta think of it yourself, since doing this in a party still will take anywhere from about 5 to 10 minutes. So a little bit of a trade-off there if you are someone who fights, say, dread for material to sell. It might not be the best place to farm depending on your outlook here. But then again, there is a couple of decent stuff here, but honestly, I wouldn't put much hope into getting a relic or anything of real quality here. Sadly, the loot table is not exactly on the best side, which is, sadly, at the time of this video, kind of disappointing. But hopefully that's something that will get adjusted as we get farther and farther into this dungeon, as more stuff get added to NGS. And there you have it. There is everything you need to know about the pyramid quest and dungeon, and what you get and how to do it. Hopefully this have made doing the content a lot easier for you and help you figure out what challenges you need to unlock. And with that, that will go ahead and do it for me for today. But once again, if you have found it helpful, make sure you do the thumbs up, subscribe, hit all the bells, and help us get to 2,000. At the time of this video, I am 1 sub away from 2K sub here on YouTube. So be sure to do that. Who knows? Maybe you will be number 2,000. And if you want to support the channel beyond that, feel free to check out patreon.com/Macon. Link will be in the description for that. And of course, by doing so, you can become like all the wonderful folk right here. So big thank you to everybody supporting here on YouTube through memberships, Patreon, or by subbing over on twitch.tv/TroyMacon. Thank you, my dudes. Once again, link to everything in the description, including the busy phone list. So if you want to check that out. And with that, that would do it for me, and I will see you all in the comments.
You'll have to excuse me.